missing the mother and son clear light, will the person be able to project themselves as Sambhoga Kaya of the Bardo? Or is it only possible after realization of the son and mother clear light? That's question number one.
Okay. That's the whole thing, right? Yeah.
Later we'll do this.
Okay, so the first question. So one doesn't have to be, the question is for those not experienced practitioner, does the person didn't realize emptiness. So if you do not realize the emptiness, you can still rise as the Sambhogakaya. So this is Sambhogakaya, we are rising as a Sambhogakaya in a simulated form. It's not in a real sense. You don't, just by dying, you do not wake up as the Sambhogakaya. You are not truly waking up as the Buddha. It's a it's a simulation. It's in a simulative form. It's a training. So we train ourselves to rise as Chandrasik, right, which is Sambhogakaya form in our alive moment. But then when we try to do that, we can hear the fan, we can hear the distraction from light, so many things to distract us externally as well as internally. A lot of conceptual thoughts are there. So our concentration is not fully concentrated. Yeah. So our understanding, our visualization of Sambhogakaya, our self rising as Sambhogakaya is not that, not fully concentrated. Yeah, it's adulterated to a high percentage. Okay, so during the Bardo state, during the clear light moment, then you have no distraction, either physical or internal, right? So therefore, even if you do, your visualization or you rising as the Bardo has more clarity, more momentum, more intensity, more depth in there, because there's no distraction, right? So you play a music on the phone. If you play it outside, the music will not be audible. Music is playing at the same rate, same volume. It will not be audible due to so many distractions out there. If you bring it here, it will be more audible. And if you bring it to, let's say, a very secluded place, the audio seemingly increases. The volume seemingly increases, even if you don't touch it, seemingly increases. It doesn't increase, but because of the lack of distraction, lack of the disturbances, it sounds more elaborate, it sounds more enhanced. So like that, during the transition, during the Bardo stage, that time, because due to lack of disturbances, due to lack of noise, yeah, white noise, green noise, everything, all the noise have been blackened out. So because of that, the visualization of Sambhogakaya is much more enhanced. But then it doesn't mean you have actually become a Sambhogakaya. It's still a practice like you practice, you try to rise yourself as a Chandrasik in this, in a live moment. Similarly, during the Bardo moment, you also rise in a simulated form. Yeah. So in order to rise as a Bardo, Sambhogakaya in the simulated form, one does not need to realize emptiness. So realize emptiness means full recognition of emptiness, was full being able to perceive emptiness as if we can see this cup, something so clear, or conceptually also. So something like that, that is to have a realization of emptiness. One doesn't need to have realization of emptiness per se, but one needs to be quite familiar, very familiar actually, quite familiar with the concept of emptiness. One may not have realization of emptiness, but one must have familiar, intuition with the emptiness. That is necessary. Without that, it will be very difficult for oneself to rise as Sambhogakaya, even in a simulated form. Okay. The second question: what is the benefit of What is the benefit of projecting oneself as Sambhogakaya of the Bardo? If you are not, okay, this is not to be read, I think. So, as I said, it's a form of training. So, visualizing ourselves as the Sambhogakaya form in a life moment, we try to achieve Sambhogakaya in the future as a Buddha, right? So, we have so much disturbances here, so that's why we cannot meditate properly. Our meditation is not fully concentrated. There are a lot of noises there, internal noises. There's a lot of internal noises out there. So in the Bardo state, when all the disturbances are no longer there, noises are cancelled out, then you have full concentration, and your adoption of the Bardo in a simulated form is much more enhanced, clearer picture for that. So the benefit of projecting oneself as Sambhogakaya, what is the benefit of projecting oneself as Sambhogakaya of the Bardo? So projecting oneself as a Sambhogakaya in a Bardo or in a alive moment basically is the both same thing. So this I said last night, I have said a couple of days back, that this is to prepare oneself for the four purification, or the four forms of purification, for transformation, for pure transformations, transforming your mind, body, speech, action, and the realm. This one I've said it a couple times. Transforming the mind from impure to the pure comes from the sutra. So you can cancel that out. So you have four: transforming the body, speech, action, activities, and pure realm. So any text that talks about these four things is Tantra. Anything that does not involve with transforming these four things, any of these four things, is not Tantra, it's not Vajrayana. Okay? So transforming the mind, very explained, was explained in great detail in the Sutrayana teachings. Transforming the body, speech, activity, and realm is explained only in the Tantrayana. So, transforming the body means the perfect body of the Buddha, perfect enlightened body of the Buddha, which is omnipresent, which is omnipotent, can do anything, can be at any different places, can be in two multiple dimension, two multiple zones at the same time, multidimensional, omnidimensional, omnipotent, omnipresence and omniscience even. That perfect body of the Buddha, enlightened body of the Buddha, physical body of the Buddha, has to have a cause. Without cause, there is no effect, because this is like Buddhism 101, right? So without cause, there's no effect. So to have a perfect body of the Buddha, we need to curate the cause of the perfect body of the Buddha in the unenlightened state, like in the state that we are right now. That's why we do the self-generation. We rise ourselves as the Buddha. We rise ourselves as, I'm using Charasik for example. We rise ourselves as Charasik, that is self-generation. We raise Charasik in front of us, that's front generation. Raise Charasik in the mandala, raise Charasik in the statue, raise Charasik within the realm of Thanga, that is called front generation. Okay. So the reason to bring forth the cause for the perfect body of the Buddha, omnipresent, omnipotent, like that. So that to bring forth that body, we need to create the cause, and we create that cause by thinking about the Buddha's perfect body, or in other words, projecting ourselves as the Buddha's perfect body. we project ourselves as embodying the perfect body of the Buddha, with no imperfection, no impurity, nothing. So it is a mental projection, but it is a mental projection that is objectifying or embodying a physical entity, the body. It's a thought, thinking about, it's a mental aspect, thinking about a non-mental thing, a physical thing, which is the Buddha's body. Understand? So therefore, that's why it's called psychophysical. The thinking part is psychological. The object that that thought is embodying is physical, so it's psychophysical. That psychophysical cause of projecting yourself as the Buddha brings forth the Buddha's perfect body, a physical entity. Right? So that is the perfect cause for the perfect body. Right? So that's why you are rising, you're projecting yourself as the Sambhogakaya. When you rise yourself as Charisic, that means you're rising yourself as a Sambhogakaya. The celestial form is called Sambhogakaya. As a prince, as a king, as a princess, that is Sambhogakaya. As a monk, as a bhikshu, that is usually the Nirmanakaya in general. Okay, so projecting yourself as Sambhogakaya in Bardo or in a alive moment, both the reason, the purpose, that was the second question. The purpose is to bring forth the proper cause and conditions for a perfect Sambhogakaya of the Buddha realm. The same way we visualize the mandala, so that we will have a perfect realm in the future. We visualize the Buddha's perfect activities. Usually we call it the dual activities. Dual activity means for the sake of oneself and for the sake of others. For the sake of oneself, you become enlightened. For the sake of others, elevate their suffering. So that is called the true purposes, fulfilling the true purposes. That is the whole gist of Buddha's. Buddha's activity can be innumerable. If you summarize, it can be summarized into two things: once for oneself and the others. I read. You read from there.
We have the third question. When we experience suffering, yet are able to view it positively and even transmute or transform it into something meaningful, does that mean we are already experiencing Amitabha's Pure Land? I have also read the saying, suffering is a broom that sweeps away all negative karma. Could Rinpoche kindly explain the deeper meaning of this saying? Thank you.
So when you are able to transform your suffering, or transmute or transform your suffering into something more meaningful, it's not you're not experiencing pure land. Okay, you're not experiencing pure land. Because pure land experiences, to experience pure land, to have a, you can say it's a, okay, it's not experiencing pure land, but, yeah, there's no but here. It's just you're not experiencing pure land. Does that mean we are already experiencing Amitabha's pure land? No. So it's just a simple no. I don't have anything to add on that. You are able to transform something negative into something meaningful. That's usually is a form of mind training. It's a form of mind training. It's a way to strengthen your mental capacity, to groom yourself to roam further in the land of bodhisattva practices. In other words, to excel yourself in the bodhisattva practice, it is helpful. Other than that, it's not really experiencing Amitabha's pure land. In order to experience Amitabha's pure land, you have to be born there. And also, when you are born in Amitabha's pure land, then you are free from any apparent forms of suffering. So there's no apparent form of suffering. There's no apparent form of afflictive emotions either. No suffering, no pain, and no suffering. And because no pain and no suffering, no ill will, no apparent ill will in the pure realm. So it's free from pain, therefore it's free from suffering, therefore it's free from ill will. Yeah. So free in the sense that it's kind of dug 6 feet under the ground, meaning it's just been lying there in a dormant state. It's not been, it's not been swept out. It's not been purified. Yeah. Just because you are born in the Pure Land does not mean all your negativities are purified. It's just the situation becomes conducive for you to practice. Since you have no apparent pain, there's no apparent suffering, therefore there is no apparent ill will. So therefore, physically and mentally, you are free to engage in, proper Dharma practices without any. In our impure land, in the world that we live in, we have so much pain. We have so much, because of the pain, we suffer, and we need to, we become suffering in the sense of we become hungry, our mind crave for things, so many things going on. So all these all these disturbances or impeding thoughts, meaning which are impediment to enlightenment, impediment to total enlightenment. All these thoughts just do not arise in the Pure Land. So if you can, what you do is you have the chance to listen to Dharma teaching by the Lord of that Pure Land. If you're born in Amitabha Pure Land, Amitabha keep teaching. If you're born in Genesis Pure Land, Genesis is teaching Dharma to you at all times. So you always have this chance to listen to Dharma talk. Anyway, so the second part of the question is, suffering is a broom that sweeps away all negative karma. So it's a metaphor, of course. So to explain this more sincerely, kindly explain the deeper meaning of this saying. So the deeper meaning behind that is, suffering is caused by this guy, right? Okay, this guy. All suffering that I experience is caused by myself. All joyfulness that I enjoy is also caused by myself. It comes from me. There's only one guy, there's only one person responsible, myself. Good things, I'm responsible. Bad things, I'm responsible. Give the credit to me, give the criticism to me. Okay? So in that sense, if I suffer, I'm paying off my debt, karmic debt. So suffering, if I'm going through a suffering, I'm actually paying off my karmic debt. If I pay off the debt, then I have swept away that negative karma. So suffering is a broom that sweeps away all negative karma in that sense. So there are two ways to clear the debt. Either you don't pay the debt, get fined, and pay the fine and the debt, then your debt is cleared, or let the moneylender take away whatever mortgage you have had. That is one way to do that, right? So suffering is letting the moneylender take your mortgage, whatever you have mortgaged, okay? That is one way. The other way we usually is to pay off the debt before it's due. That is called purification. So before you actually experience the suffering, if you pay it off, before you are born in hell, before you are suffering, before you are going through an interminable suffering, if you purify that negativity, which will bring you to that state, then you will not have to experience that suffering. Other suffering still may come, but that suffering you don't have to endure. If you're, let's say, because in general, exhaustion of suffering is is too vast because we have innumerable lifetime, infinite lifetime. If you talk infinite lifetime, then the amount of negative karma that you have accumulated is infinite, as well as the positive karma that you have is also infinite. So therefore, what we can talk about is only the immediate karmic forces. So I can actually go back a little bit to what I mentioned last night about taking rebirth in the Bardo state. The magnitude of the karmic force, the familiarity of the karmic force, the proximity of the karmic force, and the one thing that I forgot last night was the advent of the karmic force. So basically what that means is, at the time of death, we're just talking about rebirth, so at the time of death, the karmic force that gives maturation, that gives rise, that rises, that matures at the time of death, right? Is fully dependent on what type of karmic force you have. In general, if you have a very heavy karmic force, let's say the 5 heinous crime, then at the time of death, this karmic force or the karmic root, right? Negative karmic root, karmic seed. This karmic seed will blossom, bloom, give rise at the time of death. If you have no strong karmic force, like you haven't done any heinous crime, nothing, right? You have done some good things, some bad things, so good and bad are on equal level, then there is nothing to, they're on equal level, then the denominator is what you are familiar with the most. So if you are familiar with the negative deeds more, then the negative karmic seed will give rise at that moment. Let's say you kill fish or animal every day, so you have a lot of negative deeds every day. But at the same time, in order to balance that, you feel bad, you regret, you confess, and give charity to the poor, make offerings to the Buddha. Every time you kill a fish, let's say fish, you are a fisherman, every time you catch a fish, kill a fish, sell a fish, for every fish that has been caught and sacrificed, you also make an offering to the Buddha and give charity to this and that. So your negative and positive are balanced, right? So then, because of that, and your familiarity with both bad karma and good karma is also balanced. So familiarity also cannot be the denominator here. The first thing is the intensity of the karma, the heaviness of the karma, right? If you have done something very heavy, like the 5 heinous crime, that karmic force give rise at the time of death. If you have done, if you haven't done something like that, but have done equal number of good and bad things, if they are equal, your familiarity with the good and bad is also equal. So it cannot be denominated by that thing. So then the next thing comes, the next denominator for what thought to give rise, what karmic force to rise at the time of death is the proximity. Proximity means whatever deed that you have done at the very last minute before you die, whatever that give rise to your good or bad rebirth. So in order to have a good activity, the positive action, positive karma, in order to accumulate a positive karma at the time of death, you need to have a positive thought. That's why we try to do chanting the Dharma, try to put the picture of a Buddha in front of the dying person, etc. So that that person can have one moment of positive thought at that time. If they have one positive thought, proximity, at the last minute, proximity here means proximity to the death. So closest to the death, if there is one positive thought, that positive mentality will give rise for the positive karmic force that you have accumulated in the past to manifest, to give to mature. So then this will be the denominator. So even if that is not the case, even if you are not able to do that, then what action, what activity was committed first the advent of the karmic force. So whichever karmic force you have accumulated, the first thing or the earliest, meaning if you, after being born, and so you have to talk about this one particular, we call it the 12 dependent link. So we always have to talk about one chain of dependent 12 links of dependent arising, one chain. Otherwise, life is infinite. So you always have to talk about one chain of 12 dependent links. So within that 12 dependent link, what is the first thing you did? So basically, what is the first thing that you did after you were born? Most of the time, as a baby, you are doing something neutral. Maybe the first thing you did after you have grown a little bit older is something very negative. Then that is the first action you have done. So the first thing that you have done give rise at the last minute, at the time of death. So there are four denominators there are four denominators to which karma, positive or negative, which karmic force, positive karmic force or negative karmic force will give rise to at the time of death. The first one, heaviness or intensity of the karma. Second, the familiarity. Third, the proximity. The third, which one you started first. So these four things will determine what sort of karmic force will give rise at the time of death. So then if you have a positive thought, you will have a good rebirth. If you have a negative thought, this will give rise to, if you have a positive thought, this will actually bring forth the positive karmic force that you have accumulated in the past. If you have a negative force, this will actually propel you to bring forth the negative karmic force or karmic seed that you have accumulated in the past. Good thought will bring forth good karma that you have accumulated in the past. Bad thought will bring forth bad karmic force that you have accumulated in the past. So your thought determines your karmic forces, and your karmic forces at the time of death will determine your rebirth. In a sense that, so that is how it works. So when you are suffering, you are paying off the debt. So when you pay off the debt, your negative karma has been swept away in that sense. Please.
We have from one Dharma sister, 3 questions. So first question, is Pure Land not accessible for non-Buddhists? If so, is it always be sentient being in samsara given limited genuine practitioner? I don't quite understand this question, which maybe you will explain more. So I'll just, the second question is, what circumstances would one undergo Bardo to select a mother womb in the lower run by animals? The third question is, we have accumulated years of negative karma, including current life. How would we ever purify? Okay, Rinpoche.
Yeah. Okay, I'll try to read the first one because I don't get it. Pure Land is not accessible for non-Buddhists. If so, always be sentient beings in the samsara given limited genuine. Okay, I still don't get it. Okay, I'll try to go with the second one because that's how I do my test. I always choose the easy one first, then leave the most difficult one later. So you may be able to answer it, may not be able to. If you keep thinking about the first one, which is the most difficult, it will take all the time. So the second one is the most easy one. I will take that one first. What circumstances would one undergo Bardo to select a mother womb in lower realm like animals? So this to be born in animal or to be born in a lower realm or higher realm is not determined in general. So leading a Bardoa or the Bardo intermediate being, leading an intermediate being from spiraling down to a higher realm, someone who is heading down to lead them up, that is a totally different story. Okay, that is an intervention, that is a spiritual intervention. Without intervention, Bardoa, the intermediate being, either goes down or up, that is not determined by the Bardo, the intermediate being himself. That is determined by the dying person. So before the intermediate being, so intermediate is the medium one. Before that is the death. After that is the birth. So birth, future, Bardo, intermediate, the current, and death or dying is the past. So during the dying stage, what I just explained right before this, I was talking about the 4 denominators, which will determine you to be born either in the lower realm or upper higher realm. Intensity of the karmic force, familiarity of the karmic force, proximity of the karmic force, and which karmic force which you have accumulated the first thing in this particular 12 links of dependent origin, 12 links of dependent cycle. That determines whether you are to be born in a lower realm like animal, or to be born in a higher realm like a god or a human being. So these 4 denominators, right, in that very order: intensity, familiarity, and proximity. And then if there is no proximity at the time of death, your mind is neutral, totally neutral, don't think any positive, don't think negative, just blank out, then it sounds funny, but it's true. So if you have no positive, negative thoughts, just neutral, then the one that you have done the first thing in this 12 link of cycle, that will give rise. Okay, so intensity, familiarity, proximity, inception, I don't know how to phrase the last one. So the one that you have committed for the first time, that whether good or bad deed, that will give rise at the end due to that. So that will be the that will determine whether you are born in the 3 upper realms or 3 lower realms, like that. The Bardo intermediate being has no control at all whether he is to be born in the lower realm or in the higher realm. So that's why when a Bardoa, last night we discussed that if the Bardoa is going to the lower realm, then he actually goes on his head, right? So anyway, that's from the if he's going upwards, then he walks on his feet. That is the appearance. That is how it appears anyway. So select a mother womb. So I want to add something on that. So last night I gave what I said last night was a little bit inconclusive. I talked about liking the mother and being a boy being born as a boy, and liking the father and being born as a girl. So I need to give you a little bit of context there. So last night, I was not being myself. So the context here is this. So when you have a liking for the mother, it does not mean like you want that person as your mother. The liking is basically you have some keenness, some attraction to the female. Mother is a female, father is a male. So you have attraction towards the female. Okay? So when you have an attraction to the female, due to our, innumerable life cycles of engaging in procreation, so you want to procreate with the female partner. So in order to procreate with the female partner, you cannot do that unless you are a male. So you are born as a male because you want to procreate with your mother. So you become born. You are born as a boy. You select the male gender because you want to procreate with a female. So when you have attraction towards the father, who is a male, then in order to because due to our innumerable habituation through all our lifetime, every time we are born through procreation. So our very existence came into this world through procreation. So due to procreation, we are here. So therefore, because of that habituation, when we have attraction towards someone, a male, a father who is a male, then you want to procreate with him. And the only way to procreate with a father is to be a female. So that's why you are born as a girl. So that's how Yeah, you have a keenness or liking towards the father, and then you were born as a girl. You have a liking towards the mother, you are born as a boy. It's nothing to do with the mothership and the fathership. It's to do with the gender that the father embodies and the mother embodies. So when you have an attraction towards the father, you are attracted to the male appearance, male aesthetics. When you are, so you want to procreate with him, and then you're born as a girl, so that you can procreate with a male partner, and vice versa, like that. So, so the Bardo do not select the mother womb, but there is something called spiritual intervention. So when we do the 49-day prayer every week, what we are trying to do is trying to tell the Bardo person, hey, pay attention here, right? Just pay attention here. We're teaching you how to move from here to there. And if by chance the Bardo is able, the Bardo person is able to listen to your teaching, listen to the guidance, was able to get some of the signs that is being navigated. If they're able to follow the proper signs, then they will be navigated to the higher realm. Otherwise, they go down to the. So whether the Bardo intermediate being goes to the lower realm or upper realm is not determined by the intermediate being himself, but by the dying person through the 4 denominators. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we will try the second most difficult question. The first one is called. So we have accumulated eons of negative karma, including current life. How would we ever purify? That's a very good question, because if it's eons of negative karma, so eons of negative karma. If you read, for example, if you read the books on, let's say, 35 Buddha of compassion, the benefit of doing the mantra, benefit of reading the name of the 35 Buddha one by one, and then doing prostration to each of them, each of the 35 compassion Buddha, by doing one prostration to one particular Buddha, actually clears away eons of negative karma. And the same question arises from the positive side too. People ask, like, if prostrating to one of the 35 Buddhas clears eons of negative karma, then how come we are still here? And that answer is from this question, like, because we have accumulated eons of negative karma, so we need eons of positive karma, or we need eons of clearing the negative karma as well. So the negative karma that we have accumulated over the years is like innumerable. Yeah. So therefore, no matter how many eons of positive karma, how many eons of negative karma that we clear away, we need to do much more. Because a lot of time when we karma, positive karma or negative karma, negative karma, especially negative karma, when we do not purify, when we don't confess, they multiply day by day. So if we have one eon, let's just assume, for the sake of simplification, we have one eon of negative karma that we have not purified, then every day is being amplified by one eon. So you are adding to the number, and yeah. So how we purify is through reciting the name of the Buddhas, 35 Buddhas, the medicine Buddhas, the Vajrasattva mantras, the syllables. And for example, like the Nyungne practice, it says one set of Nyungne will purify 300 eons, 300,000 eons, I forgot exactly. So of negative karma is being, yeah. So congratulations to all the Nyungne practitioners. We have purified countless eons of negative karma, and now only countless eons of negative karma remains. Was that? Yeah. so we sorry. Yeah, more Nyungne is necessary now. Including negative karma, including current life, how would we ever purify? So purification through there's something called the four powers, right? Relying on a refuge, then regret or regret, refrain, and what is the last one? Remedy, yeah. So remedy is the mantra recitation thing. Refrain is from not doing what you have just done. Regret is, strong repentance, strong regret, strong grief about doing that. So that is as if some poison has been consumed. So you really, want to throw that thing out. So through that you can purify. Yeah. So the idea is not to keep cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. The idea is not to keep purifying the negative karma. I mean, we have to purify a lot of negative karma in order to, lighten our burden of negative karma, right? We need to do that, but that is not the main goal. Because no matter how much negative karma you try to sweep away, it's still like because it's countless lifetimes. So it never ends, so to speak. The idea is to the idea is not to keep cutting the grass or the weed at the top, but to root them out. Yeah. So in order to root them out, we have to do that through rooting out the three poisons. Out of the three poisons, the main is the ignorance, and of all the ignorance, all different confusions, all types of confusion, or all types of ignorance, the most malign form is that of confusion of the ultimate truth, ignorance of ultimate truth, not knowing the reality, ultimate reality of all phenomena. So whatever that means, this is the most important thing, and we have all to recognize that one. So the most dreaded question, the first one, I'll try one more time. If I cannot, I will leave this one. Pure. Oh, yeah.
Clarify that question is from me.
Okay.
Okay, I wrote that in the rush during lunch.
Okay,
so
please.
What I want to say is, for someone who is not a Buddhist or without the knowledge of Pure Land and concepts, then would they ever get there? So.
This lifetime? Yeah. Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, I'm asking that for someone who is not Buddhist or who has no knowledge of Pure Land, for example, someone has no religion or from other religions, then they will never get to Pure Land. Is that correct? And then, which means that the samsara will never be empty.
So, first of all, never say never. So, this lifetime, as a non-believer, will not get to Pure Land. Eventually, can. This lifetime, because they have no familiarity, knowledge, no training, nothing. So they will not. This time they have no pass, cannot enter. But eventually they can come back with a pass for the next show, then can enter. So this lifetime, no. Yeah. Sorry. Are we able to help them to be born in the Pure Land if they are not interested in they have no interest at all in the Dharma in their whole lifetime?
Maybe their ignorance.
Sorry?
Due to their ignorance.
Yeah, I know.
But we all know we are able to help them.
I know. Yeah. So I'm rephrasing the question to you. I'm just confirming with you, okay? So if you have no interest in the Dharma at all lifetime, in this lifetime, not at all, due to ignorance or whatever reason, right? You have other affinity and as well. You have affinity towards other things and other things as well, and whatever the reason be. So at the time of death, you have no such thing. Then will we be able to help them to get to the Pure Land, even if they have no familiarity with the Dharma or spiritual practice at all, right? That's the question. Cannot. Yeah. It's a big no. But Pure Land cannot. But will we be able to help them have a good rebirth? We can. By how? By telling them to have a positive thought. There are 4 denominators. So the first, if they have, so we can help. We cannot help in the first, second, and the 4th denominator. The 3rd one, the proximity, we can help by making them remember something positive thing that they have done. So a lot of time, when someone is dying, most of the time the Lama, the teacher, the venerable who we invite to give up, we invite them to do a puja for prayer for the dying person, is they will say, tell them to have a calm mind, tell them to have a calm mind and have to have a positive mindset. So if you have a positive mindset, that will actually unlock the reservoir of positive karmic forces that he has accumulated in this lifetime or in previous lifetime. So everybody, whether you are a believer or non-believer, whatever, we all have done so many good things as well as bad things. So they have a reservoir of good deeds as well as bad deeds. So if you have a positive thought at that crucial moment, that positive thought can be the key word or a key key to unlock the reservoir of positive karmic force that one accumulated in the past. And by giving rise to the karmic force at the time of death, you will be able to propel yourself to higher rebirth. Yeah. So higher rebirth, as a non-believer, you can be born in a higher kasa. So nobody is nobody has never been a non-believer. Okay. In this lifetime, you may be a non-believer, but in the previous lifetime, you have been believing something else. So nobody, you cannot say somebody has not been a believer ever. So at some point of time, you have been a believer. This lifetime may not be, but there's always that reservoir of faith, reservoir of devotion, reservoir of positive karmic force that you can always tap in. So that can be tapped in and that can be activated to propel oneself to a higher rebirth. So, but to be born in a pure land, it takes some other form of purification, some other form of training. So since you have not had that kind of training, it cannot be. Yeah. In general, logically speaking, cannot be. But there may be other ways. Yeah. That may lack logical explanation, but there can be other ways too. Yeah. I'm not saying that sarcastically. Like there are other some special ways to do that, but there's no logical explanation to that. Yeah. So I will skip it for that.
Shall we go to the next question?
Please.
Okay, the next question is from another Dharma brother. He also has 3 questions. The first question he has: due to our ignorance, we took many initiation and find that our maintained lifestyle cannot cope with so many sadhana. What should we do? That's his first question. The second question is, you have mentioned Bardo will take 49 days will take rebirth in 49 days. Do the Chinese ancestor prayers still help after that?
Okay.
And how?
Okay.
Question number 3. Having said that, the rebirth is based on the last imprint or habitual routine. Do we always wait for the karma to ripen? Or how can we change the process?
Okay. Can I have that?
It is here.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Okay. The first one. Due to our ignorance, we took many initiations and find out that our mundane lifestyle cannot cope with so many sadhana. Our mundane lifestyle cannot cope, or I cannot cope. I don't know what the question was. I'm just joking. What should we do? So I don't blame the practitioner. I don't blame the devotees entirely, because a lot of time tantric initiations were just flooded to the devotees. You were never a lot of time you were never told of the consequence or the commitments or anything. You were told that it's a very beneficial thing. You will receive, after receiving this, you will have this liberation, that liberation, this and that. There's a lot of empowerment marketing. Okay. So without pointing finger at anyone, So the thing is, yeah. So the devotees have no nothing to blame actually, because sometimes the the person sitting on the throne, he himself is responsible, because one is supposed to inform, even the, how to say, all the applications that you download, they have an agree thing, right? You say, do you agree? Yes, agree, right? There's a, what do you call that thing? Disclaimer, huh?
Non-disclosure of consent.
Yeah, that consent, yeah, huh? ADA, DNA, whatever that thing. Huh? PDP, yeah, right. So you have that thing. There's a lot of terms and conditions. That's what I'm trying to say. Terms and conditions. So a lot of time before giving the initiations, the terms and conditions, the TNC were never announced, and you find out the TNC much later from somewhere else about the TNC, right? Now for that thing, okay, I'm giving a free pass for the devotees. Devotees are not to be entirely blamed. Now I will give a free pass to the teacher too. Okay, the teachers are also not entitled to be blamed, because whenever there is a not real, okay, I will cancel that. Whenever there is a comprehensive Buddhist teaching going on, people seldom come attend. Whenever there is an initiation, empowerment, something advanced, all the people come. So therefore, teachers are also not to be blamed entirely. If you don't come, you don't know. So you come only when, I'm not saying you as you, I'm saying you as in Y-O-U. In general, yeah, His Holiness mentioned that several times, many times. Whenever he said, in general, Kala Chakra teachings were supposed to be given very rarely. Most of the time, like most teachers give like 3 to 5 times maximum, that's it. His Holiness gave like 30 something, 33 or 35, I forgot. So His Holiness said the main reason is because he wants to give people the real Dharma or the comprehensive Dharma teaching, what is usually known as preliminary teachings. So before giving initiation, he gives a lot of preliminary teachings. He himself said that many times, multiple times, that if he gives a Lamrim teaching or the 37 practice of the Bodhisattva, this and that, very few people come, maybe thousands, right? That's His Holiness. In Kala Chakra, lot of advanced commitment, everything, 200,000 people come, 300,000 people come. So he takes this opportunity to give people the comprehensive Dharma study, Dharma teaching, the preliminary teaching, the so-called preliminary teaching. So His Holiness said, I'm trying to be smart to give people the comprehensive Buddhist teaching, so I give the Kala Chakra, make announcement for Kala Chakra teaching, I give Kala Chakra teaching. I'm giving Kala Chakra teaching in order to give people the foundational Buddhist teachings. What happened was, because we are a student of His Holiness Dalai Lama, we are very smart, actually smarter than him. So we choose not to attend the preliminary. Oh, when is the preliminary? Oh, okay, on the 10th. When is the actual initiation? Oh, 13th. Okay, I will come on the 12th evening after the preliminary teaching is over. Then I will come and receive the the actual initiation. I don't need the preliminary because it's preliminary, right? Preliminary. We don't need that? It's preparatory. Why do we need to chop the onions, cut the meat, this and that? We just have to eat. That's what we are saying. But in order to eat, you need to prepare all the dishes, the recipe, everything need to be done. So we don't do that. So the lamas are also not to be blamed entirely. So we are 50-50. The teacher is to be blamed 50% of the time, and the student are also blamed 50% of the time. If you are drawn to comprehensive Buddhist teachings, study programs, then you will know this beforehand. So then you will not have to go through this kind of difficulty. But because anyway, so I'm speaking more than I should. So the thing is, that's not your real question. Your real question was how to cope with so many sadhana. So I don't have the authority to say this, so I don't know if I say this. But okay, since it's better than not doing a sadhana, so I will just say it. So if you have multiple sadhanas, you can. Okay, so it's very difficult to say. Let's just put it this way. If I were you, I will, and I cannot do multiple sadhanas, then I will categorize the sadhana into 4 categories. The Kriya Tantra, Charya Tantra, basically the 4 tantric classes. And then I will combine all the Kriya Tantra into one, all the, what is that thing? The highest Tantra, what you call that thing? Anuttara Yoga Tantra, right? HYT. So I will combine them into one, and then I will do one of them. Occasionally, I will choose, I will rotate between different Kriya Tantra practices. If I have received, let's say, Charasik, Vajrasattva, Medicine Buddha. So one day I will do Charasik, the other day I will do Medicine Buddha, like that. That's how I would put it. In general, I will make sure that, because the higher the tantric initiation, the HYT, because the consequences are much more intense. I will try to not to skip those. I will try to put more emphasis on the HYT and less on the lower tantras. But I will not skip them. Occasionally, instead of abandoning or instead of giving up any practices at all times, I'll try to rotate between different practices. And I will try to do that on certain dates, at least once a month or once a week, like that. So, for example, there are certain dates like Medicine Buddha Day, Tara Day, you might find on the Tibetan calendars. So on those specific days, especially like on the 15th day, since we're trying to maximize our profit, so the 15th day of the lunar calendar, which is the full moon day, is usually very beneficial to do any of the practices. So on the make sure, if you cannot do your practices all week round, all month round, all year round, if I cannot do it all day round, I will try to do it all week round. If not, I will do it all month round. Somewhere in the month, I will not skip it. So every 15th, I will do all my practices, not skip it. So every 4 months, quarterly, quarterly report. So I will try to make sure, Q1, Q2, Q3. So I will try to make sure that I have that. So what the benefit here is that if you do it on a quarterly manner, quarterly basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, you're still keeping the consistency, right? The flow is still there. You cannot do it every day, but within the realm of a month, within the realm of a week, you keep doing that. That actually keeps the flow going. So you're not totally abandoning. That's a big thing. So that's one of the things. If you have received HYT practices, then Guru Yoga is very important, and you cannot skip Guru Yoga, most importantly. And then, so one of the very simple way to practice Dharma is Dharma, Buddhist Dharma, Buddha Dharma is very Buddha Dharma is a very simple way to, because it's all mental. Yeah. Anyway, Sangye Chodam Soge Chonam, you know that. Everyone knows that. Yeah. I take refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha for the sake of all sentient beings, right? So by engaging in practices or conduct such as generosity and so forth, may I attain complete Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings, right? So in that context, Sangye Chodam Soge Chonam La. So you have Buddha Dhamma Sangha, Buddha Dhamma Sangha can be combined in one, in your guru. Your guru, let's just take His Holiness for example. So His Holiness can be seen as both, all three. He's the teacher, so he's the Buddha for sure. No. So you may have other teachers other than His Holiness. You must, it's a must after you have taken initiation, that you must see, not even initiation, after you have taken Bodhisattva vows, you must see your teacher as Buddha. It does not, it's not necessary that the teacher is an actual Buddha. Okay? The teacher being a Buddha does not rely on the truth. Okay? I will rephrase it, I will say it one more time, so that the teacher being a Buddha does not rely on reality. It does not mean the teacher is really a Buddha, but if you take your teacher as a Buddha, you will receive the blessing of a Buddha. You will receive the same sort of blessing, same power, for lack of a better word, as a Buddha. If you regard him as the Arhat, you will receive the blessing of an Arhat. If you regard him as something equal to you, is equal. Yeah, you don't have anything to learn from them. If you regard your teacher as lower than you, then you don't receive anything. Anyway, so regarding your teacher as the Buddha is beneficial. For that, the whole Lamrim, 60% of Lamrim is about Guru Yoga. Okay, Lamrim is 600 pages. 60%, 300 pages is about Guru Yoga. So Lamrim, regarding your kasa, taking your teacher as the Buddha. Then Dharma. Dharma, we usually think of Dharma as the Buddha's teaching. Buddha's teaching is the Dharma expressed. Dharma is being expressed to us, transmitted to us in the form of the Buddha's teaching. The real Dharma is not the teaching, not the spoken word, but the understanding. So understanding behind the knowledge behind the spoken words. So real Dharma is not the Buddha's teaching on emptiness, but the realization of emptiness. That is the real Dharma. Buddha's teaching on emptiness is not the real Dharma. Real Dharma is the Buddha's understanding of emptiness. And when that understanding, that knowledge, that wisdom is expressed, transmitted, it's transmitted in the form of teaching, that we usually refer to as Dharma. Okay, so real Dharma is not the spoken words, but the actual knowledge. So in that case, your teacher, our teacher, His Holiness, embodies that. So he has the Dharma. Then Sangha. Usually we think of Sangha as a group of people or a group of monks, or that's what usually we think. But the real Sangha is someone who has realized emptiness. Okay? Someone who has realized emptiness is regarded as a Sangha, a true Sangha. Gendun. Someone who, true Sangha in the Buddhist context is someone who has realized emptiness. So your teacher has realized emptiness, so he is Sangha. He has the realization of emptiness, so he has Dharma within himself. His very being is Dharma. Then he is the Buddha. Okay, so when you do the Buddha Dharma Sangha, Sangye Chodam Soge Chonamla, you see yourself as the embodiment of Buddha Dharma Sangha. When you see your teacher, your guru, as Buddha Dharma Sangha, you have Guru Yoga right there. So the first word, Sangye Chodam Soge Chonamla, that way you have Guru Yoga and the refuge practice already there. Changju Parto Dani Tyapsuchi, I take refuge in, so the refuge is there. By engaging in conduct such as generosity and so forth. In the so forth you have the wisdom, right? Wisdom is wisdom realizing emptiness. When you talk about wisdom realizing emptiness, the wisdom realizing emptiness is the is the subject. The object of wisdom realizing emptiness is emptiness itself. So in order to think about, in order to create a thought on pizza, you have to think about pizza. So in order to think about the wisdom of emptiness, you have to think about emptiness. So you remember emptiness, right? So recalling emptiness is a big part, actually one of the main commitment as part of HYT HYT receiver. If you receive any higher tantra, you need to remember emptiness once a day. Yeah. You also need to engage in bodhicitta once a day. So when you take refuge in Buddha Dhamma Sangha, in order to attain enlightenment, actually includes bodhicitta here, right? You don't want to attain bodhicitta for the sake of becoming an arhat. When you want to attain Buddhahood, that is known as the bodhi, which is Buddhahood, chitta, mind, the mindset to have a Buddha, to have a Buddhahood, the mindset to have a Buddhahood, that's bodhicitta. So you have bodhicitta within there, okay? Then you have one of the most important practice after taking HYT, you have to actually supposed to do the 6 session Guru Yoga, okay? One of the main reason is during the 6 session Guru Yoga, you have to recall and check, verify whether you have broken any of the Pratimoksha vow. If you are a layperson, the Upasaka vow, the 5, or then the Bodhicitta vow, then 14 Bodhicitta vows, 18 Bodhicitta vows, 14 root downfalls of the Tantric vow. All these you have to verify whether you have broken or not broken. So in order to do that, Sangye Chodan Soge Chonamla, when you say Drolap Chanju Dagi Jinso Gibe Chonamki, from engaging in practices such as generosity, there's an etc. here. So etc. is including generosity, discipline, patience, all these things there. So discipline, second one is discipline. So tantric vows, discipline. Bodhisattva vow, discipline. Patimoksha vow, discipline. So you are reflecting on the discipline aspect already there. So actually, if you think carefully, properly during the Sangye Chodan Soge Chonamla, that 4-line practice itself is so powerful. Within that, almost all of your Guru Yoga practice, many of your tantric sort of commitments are all included in there. That's the main reason why Adisha wrote Sangye Chodan Soge Chonamla in Tibet for Tibetans who have received many initiations and find that their mundane lifestyle cannot cope with so many sadhana. So to those Tibetans, Adisha gave that Sangye Chodan Soge Chonamla. It becomes so prevalent, so popular, and people thought this is just a common practice. The reason it's a common practice is because they want, the master, Adisha, want this to be a common practice. Common means everyone can practice so that it's accessible to all. Why is accessible to all? Not because it's cheap. It should be accessible to all because everybody has received initiation and so many samayas are being broken and vows are being broken. So everybody should do that. What we do, something different. Oh, this is too popular. This is for the common people. We want some very special practice. And every special practice, customized practice. If you want a customized suit, it costs much more. If you want a generic suit, it's less expensive, but it's more accessible. You can get it anytime. So anyway, that's the first. Second question, you mentioned Bardo will take rebirth in 49 days. Do the Chinese ancestors' prayers still help after that? So it only helps the Chinese-speaking people, because the others do not understand the language. So it does not, okay, so any prayers, Chinese or Tibetan, doesn't matter, ancestor prayer, after 49 days, it does not help in the sense of having a good rebirth. So the rebirth, the birth will be taken place within the 49 days. A birth will already take place within the 49 days. After 49 days, you cannot change their birth, right? Birth cannot be changed. But wherever they have been born, by doing prayers, whether Chinese prayer, Tibetan prayer, whatever, Japanese, Vietnamese, whatever prayer you do, that will lighten the suffering or the burden that the person who is already born is going through. that burden will be lightened through that prayer. So the birth itself will not be able to change, yeah, but how to say, it will not be able to change the birth, rebirth, where that person will be born, cannot change, they are already born, right? But how they fare in that life can change a little bit, okay? The third question, having said the rebirth is based on the last imprint of habitual routine, do we always wait for the karma to ripen, or how can we change the process? So yeah, we don't have to wait until the karma has ripened fully. Before the karma, actually the idea is to transmute the karma before it has ripened. You are supposed to pay the debt before the due date, right? If you don't want the fine. Yeah.
Get interest, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, you have interest, you have all the things fine, this and that coming up. Yeah. Please, next one.
So this one has 5 questions, so I will just read for everybody first.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the next question from one Dharma sister. Her first question is about wandering spirits. Is it due to a karma rebirth or due to unfinished task and didn't want to take rebirth? That's her first question. Second question is about sudden death. For example, my 4th sister-in-law who died during in Yunnan was cremated on the 2nd day. If I'm not wrong, one only know their date upon the 3rd day or so. She was cremated while Bardo has not taken place yet. Does that mean a bad rebirth into the 3 lower realms or upon her karma while alive as a good person? That's her second question. Her third question is, what I did was advising my niece to chant Amitabha mantra non-stop for at least 8 hours at the Chinese funeral parlor. During the 7x7 Bardo, which means the first 3/7, there was a butterfly appearing. One at the wake, one while my niece was walking the dog, and one while my brother was showering. My brother touched it and it didn't fly away. I was very worried that she might not know she has passed on while in Bardo, and told my niece to keep playing the Amitabha mantra and talk to her, believing she's still around them. To tell her that she has passed on and to let go and chant the Amitabha mantra and to go to the Pure Land. After the 3rd week, the Bardo, the butterfly did not appear again. Does that mean that she has gone to Amitabha Pure Land? Because in the Amitabha Sutra, it did mention about chanting his name will be able to take rebirth in his Pure Land. Okay. Then question number 4. Why does a deceased person shed tears before their last breath? This happened to my second brother and my elder sister, but not my mom. The last question was, after cremation, there are rainbow colors on the ash. Does it symbolize a good rebirth has taken place? Thank you, Rinpoche.
Okay. The first question, wandering spirit due to a karma rebirth or due to unfinished task. And so usually, if someone dies in a situation like a KIA, right? Killed in action, like in a war zone or fighting this and that. Then a lot of time, if I have been killed and I am unable to avenge my death, I'm able to kill that person who is killing me, who has killed me. Then the dying person has a very vengeful thought, very intense vengeful thought. So remember the 4 denominators. So the 4 denominator, the last thought, of course, the last thing that he did was stab the other person. So you stab me, I stab you. So we're doing a lot of negative things there. So last deed I did was, the proximity is bad deed and bad thought, right? And where I really want to destroy, bring that other person, bring this person out of this world, right? So something like that. So if you die in such a case scenario, then and then you will most likely be born in a spirit realm, and then you will be a wandering spirit with unfinished business. Yeah. So you're looking, and then so most of the wandering spirit has some sort of unfinished business or discontent. Yeah, strong discontent is that they are unable to fulfill. So in general, wandering spirits are roaming around, being lost, and so the wandering spirit are we usually regard them as have already taken a rebirth. Not so just because you are in the spirit world does not mean you have not taken a rebirth. Taken a rebirth, there are 6 types of rebirths, 6 realms there: human world, animal realm, this and that. So so a lot of the spirits, harmful spirits, can be categorized into the demigod realm. Yeah. So they are already taken rebirth and they are in the demigod realm. So if you remember the story of the demigod, they are always hungry for, they are always vying for the power that the gods have, right? The tree grows from their land, and the gods are enjoying the fruit of their labor. That's why they are always envious of the gods, achievement. So a lot of the wandering spirit belong to the demigod realm, and they have already taken a rebirth. So it's not like they don't want to take a rebirth. They have no control over whether they should take a rebirth or not take a rebirth, because they have not reached that level yet. So they have already been born. They were born in most spirits are part of the demigod realm. And some can be in the hungry ghost realm. A lot of it's the demigod and hungry ghost. If you are killed in action, fighting, very intense sort of a climactic kind of thing, then you'll be born in a malevolent spirit, harming people, this and that, just creating havoc everywhere like that. Then if you died due to, let's say abuse and other sort of thing, and also if you died through if you make yourself non-existent, so I'm trying not to use that word. Anyways, so when you do that, then what happens is you are born in a spirit world where you are roaming around hungry. Hungry meaning the reason you make yourself non-existent is because there is something that you want to fulfill and it cannot be fulfilled. So that's why it's better to make yourself non-existent than to exist. So that's why you do that. So therefore, so when you die, that thought, that sort of hunger, that pang is still there, very intense. So you still keep roaming around like lost, not finding anything. So one of the reason why we portray ghost in a more very hollow, smoky kind of way is because there is no substance with the ghost, with the spirit. No substance in the thing that are lost. If you are lost, you're not anchored. If you're not anchored, there's no solidity. There's no firmness there. Anything can carry you anywhere. That's why we draw ghosts in a more of a smoky kind of way. It's not necessarily that's how they appear. It's just how they feel, right? The smokiness, the sudden death. So only one know they are dead upon the 3rd day or so. She was cremated while. We according to like our culture, usually we believe we let a person remain for 3 days if they are not like smelling, not rotting. But if their body starts to rot and the smell is unbearable. So the thing is, if the person is in a meditative post-death meditation, or if that person, even if they are not in the post-death meditation, but if their consciousness is still there, even after clinically declared dead, the body is still able to maintain its composure in a sense. So if they are in a meditative state, usually they become much more colorful, much more majestic, much more, I don't know how to put it, pleasant. A person may be very sick, then after they're clinically dead, if they're in a post-death meditation, they look more majestic, more grand than they were before they die. So if they're in such a situation, they're actually going through the post-death meditation of through the doing practice on wisdom, different emptiness, wisdom, and all these things like that. In general, any ordinary person, if the consciousness is still there after death, after clinically declared death, if it's still there, the person may not become much more attractive or pleasant, but the composure will still be there, right? And definitely it will not rot. If it's starting to rot, smell bad, then the consciousness has departed, for sure. So 3 days is like the maximum, but it can also depart before 3 days too. So she was, okay, the question continues. She was cremated while Bardo, okay. So she was cremated on the second day because of sudden death. So therefore, because since she's not like fully dead, the logic is that it takes 3 days for someone to die. So that is not the case. Someone can die, the consciousness can live within a few hours of being declared clinically dead. So it is not necessary for them to be within the body for 3 consecutive days after declared clinically dead. So therefore, she may or may not have been buried before the consciousness has left. So the question continues, she was cremated while Bardo was not taking place. Does that mean a bad rebirth into 3? Yeah, so that does not change anything. Moving the body, cremating someone even before the consciousness has left or not, that does not change whether the person goes to hell or heaven. This is truly determined by the 4 denominators that we just talked about earlier. Okay, so that part about number 3 is a very long question. So the butterfly appearing, and so I think these are wonderful signs, but so I will just say something like this. You start to see what you're looking for, especially when you're emotional. Yeah, so that's the 3rd question. The 4th question is, what does deceased person shed tears before their last breath? This happened to my 2nd brother and my eldest sister, but not my mom. Okay, I will add one more to the 3rd question. So does that mean she has gone to Amitabha Pure Land? Because in the Amitabha Sutra it did mention that chanting his name will be able to take rebirth in his Pure Land. I think the main sort of misconception is that I chant Amitabha Sutra for you to be born in Amitabha's Pure Land. I think that's a big misconception. So when it talks about Amitabha in the Amitabha Sutra, Pure Land Sutra, if you chant the Amitabha's mantra, then you will be born in Amitabha's Pure Land. It means if you chant Amitabha Sutra, if you remember the teaching, it says without any doubt, with full conviction, you recite the Amitabha's mantra, then you will be born in Amitabha's Pure Land. So that begs the question, if I chant for you, is it helpful or not? It is helpful, but it's best if you do it yourself. Yeah, so that is my answer to the 3rd question. Why do people shed tears before their last breath? I think for various reasons. So you have happy thoughts, unhappy thoughts, regrets, so many things. So sometimes we shed tears for things that we are unable to do, or things that we have done but should not have done. After cremation, there are question number 5. After cremation, there are rainbow colors on the ashes. Does it symbolize a good rebirth has taken place? I hope so.
Thank you, Rinpoche. This is the last question. In the Amitabha Sutra, it is said that one can take rebirth in Amitabha Pure Land by single-mindedly reciting Amitabha's name, especially reciting at the point of death. As such, in addition to practicing the sleeping meditation taught by you, will it be beneficial to also recite Amitabha's name before sleep?
Yeah. Very good question. And then for that, I have to make an apology to all of you for omitting to actually say this thing. I was supposed to give you the Amitabha mantra's transmission, or you are to, because I remembered that I gave this the sleeping yoga thing last year, and when I remembered that, then I just skipped the whole thing. I just jumped to the conclusion. So anyway, so before you do the inhalation exhalation thing, you recite the Amitabha's mantra. 1 round, 2 round, or maybe several count, right? Om Amitabha or what is the other one? Om Amarana Jivanti. So okay, that's for Amita use. So anyway, Om Amitabha, recite that mantra, and after reciting the mantra, then go to sleep. Yeah. So will it be beneficial to also recite Amitabha's name before sleep? Yes, it does. So I forgot to mention that last time, so I apologize for that. So you recite the mantra of Amitabha and then go to sleep and simulate reciting this. To simulate reciting during the death process. Exactly. So you keep reciting the mantra of Amitabha before you lie down, and you can also recite while you are asleep. Also, that's not a problem. You're not doing that out of laziness, right? If you are doing the mantra recitation out of laziness by lying down, that is not okay. But this is part of the sleeping yoga practice, so it's okay. So you recite Amitabha's mantra before lying down, and after that you just maybe 1 or 2 times, depending on how tired you are, you can just lie down and then keep visualizing the inhalation, exhalation, exiting the consciousness and entering the consciousness, this part, while reciting the Amitabha's mantra. We call this mental recitation. So you don't have to murmur it, you don't have to utter the words, you can just mentally recite the mantra. Actually, that's more powerful. Yeah.
Thank you, Rinpoche. We have so many questions today. Does the question helps? Yes, very beneficial. And also Rinpoche has demystified some and also give a lot of understanding to us for what is the Amitabha Pure Land, how do we practice, also in the Bardo stage. So it gives us a little bit more information to understand where we are and how we die, and where's our next rebirth. Is there any other question? Any burning questions?
So if let's say we want to aim to realize emptiness during the Bardo time, but we're also not confident whether we can realize that. So maybe we have the first plan, try to realize emptiness. But if I couldn't realize emptiness, then the second plan is to be born in Amitabha Pure Land. So at which stages that it's no longer possible to realize emptiness?
Oh, okay.
So that we can switch to the second plan.
You're stepping your feet in 2 boats. Emptiness and the Pure Land. No. Even if you're attempting to understand emptiness at the time of death, even that attempt itself will propel you to have a higher rebirth. Even the attempt, even just figuring out the concept of emptiness is highly beneficial. There are so many benefits of mentioned in the sutra about hearing, just like we talk about hearing Amitabha's name, Amitabha's mantra, this and that. Even contemplating on the concept of emptiness. People have their own understanding of what emptiness is. So different level. Even within Buddhism, there is the Madhyamika view, Chittamatrin view. Actually, all the four schools of Buddhism, the Vaibhashika, the Sautantrika, and then the Chittamatrin, the mind-only school, and the Madhyamika, middle way school, they all profess emptiness. Now, if you ask them what is emptiness, each of those schools, those master, philosopher, great practitioner, yogi, they will all give you a totally different presentation. But it's still inclining towards the idea or the concept of emptiness. So even having, it's usually said that in order to practice Vajrayana, you need to have an understanding of emptiness that's beyond, above Chittamatrin school. Chittamatrin school emptiness, the emptiness as stated in the Chittamatrin school and above, like Madhyamika has two schools, Prasangika and Sautantrikas, right? the consequentialist Madhyamika and what's the other one? I don't know how to speak, translated in English. The Sautantrika, usually we call it Rangyupa, the self something. So Prasangika is the consequentialist, right? And the Sautantrika is self. Sautantrika, yeah, that's the Sanskrit word. I mean, in English, self something. Anyway, so Sautantrika means self-imposed or self something. Anyway, so the two types of Madhyamika, you need to have in order to practice, in order to have a anyway, that's in order to practice Vajrayana, it's important to have understanding of emptiness beyond that of the Chittamatrin school. In any case, so your answer is, as long as you have you don't need to put your finger the feet in two different boats. Just rely on emptiness. That will help you to get to a higher river. So.
We can take one more question.
Yeah.
Today is the last. How many more? Want to ask? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because we have this our last session teaching class for the whole month. So Rinpoche, is it okay with you?
Yeah, I'm okay.
And
Yeah.
if it's okay for you to stay a bit longer, yes, if you don't mind, then we can. Yes, please go.
Sorry, Rinpoche. I have a brother who is dumb and deaf.
Okay.
I sometimes see he's quite easily agitated. So, unfortunately, he's a Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just want to know how do I help him
Mm-hmm.
to kind of cool down.
Mm-hmm.
Whether at any time, especially maybe he's deaf or something.
Mm-hmm. So what is his reaction to Buddha's image?
Basically, kind of like, number one, they are taught like, not to go
Right,
there.
idolatry, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then he kind of respect.
I see. So how to help? I have no idea. Honestly speaking, because he's not prompt to receive. So very difficult.
How to help a person to calm down.
Teach him like the breathing exercises, if he's okay to accept that, because this has got nothing to do with religiosity. So therefore, it's pure, secular. So some breathing exercises would be helpful.
So if this life, because due to his karma, he's like that. Mm-hmm. How do we bring him next life to be maybe a better?
Okay. So I will answer your question as well as some sort of solace to the previous questioner, the one with 5 questions. Okay. So the presentation I gave earlier is more likely from a very philosophical, very rational point of view. As I said earlier, there are non-rational ways to realize things as well. So because it's not rational, so some people may accept it, some people may not accept it, depending on situations. So when I say non-rational, I'm talking about more mythological or more mystical things. So that in that case, we have something called the four powers. I think I mentioned that earlier, right? Not the four powers in the sense of four powers, not in the sense of the four powers to purify. It's called. Is it three powers or four powers? Okay, let me just read it through. Okay, the power of concentration, the power of substance. I think it's three powers. There's three powers. Okay, or three potential. Okay, substance, concentration, and incantation. Okay, yeah, reciting mantra, chanting. So if someone is in a dire situation, so the person earlier mentioned about reciting the name of Amitabha Buddha and then whether they can be born in Amitabha's Pure Land or not. So if you go on a more mystical form, then Amitabha's mantra has this power because Buddha have an immense power. So for that reason, Buddha's name, the incantation of the Buddha's name, the reciting the Buddha's name has such an immense power that when someone hears the name of the Buddha, it kind of gives a relief to that person. So that is the incantation part. So these three powers are basically, through these powers, you receive the blessings. Your blessing means transformation in your life. Okay, how you are transformed? You can be transformed through concentration, meditation, right? You can be transformed through meditation. You can be transformed through substance. You can be transformed through incantation. So if you read a certain mantra, so this is answer to you and as well as the one who asked 5 questions. So that when you read a mantra, even though that person is not has any belief or does not, their mind is not there, just by reciting the mantra for them, if they hear the word, this incantation leaves a very strong positive imprint on their mindset, mental stream, consciousness, and in that way they will have there will be a huge transformation in their life. But also not to give your thoughts, not to give your hopes too high that just by reciting the Amitabha mantra for you, whether you will go to Pure Land, that is quite questionable. But if you recite Amitabha's mantra to a certain person, there will be a huge impact, transformative impact, positive transformative impact in that person's life. Whether that mantra will propel them to the Pure Land, that is a little bit questionable. But in general, it will help them to have a transformative. So in your case, if a person is deaf and mute, cannot chant the mantra, cannot read, cannot hear. So in that case, through substance, means like some sort of holy pills, blessing, this and that, if they ingest them, the holy pills are holy in the sense that they have this special power. So there's no rational explanation for this, but in a mystical way, they have this power, they have the blessing, like that. And one of the things is Buddha's image, the Buddha's picture, the tankas, the statues, these are considered very, 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 very precious. Actually, in the sutra, it is spoken that seeing the image of the Buddha itself is highly liberating. I think that's one of the reasons why in certain Buddhist culture, it is seen as an objectification of the Buddha's image, like when you put the Buddha's statue as a objet d'art, like an art decor. So some Buddhists, like very traditional Buddhists, object to that. But if you look at that, no other religious figure is no other religious figure is cherished like the Buddha by all faith. So Buddha's picture, everybody keeps. If you pick up a Buddha's picture, does not mean you are a Buddhist. Usually if you keep the picture of a Christ or any other forms of religious symbol, it symbolizes that you are following that. The Buddha's image you see in the airport, especially in a spa, you put the Buddha's image because it is supposed to give you tranquility, right? There is that thing, right? I mean, yeah. So So Buddha's image is associated with tranquility and peace, even for non-believers. Right? Just seeing the Buddha's image has that sort of no other sort of religious figure has that sort of effect. Only Buddha has that. So if you look at it from a more objective point of view, yeah, it has that benefit. So showing the image of the Buddha, if he's not, showing the image of the Buddha, giving holy pills, and then chanting mantras for him will help.
Well, later on, can you also advise us something like called death will? Death will.
Death will?
Yeah.
What's that?
That means when we're preparing for that. Yeah, like,
Death will. Oh, okay. Wow.
We can do that later, right?
Later, okay.
Okay. Very quickly, can I just share something that I experienced? A good friend of mine passed away in May. He had an operation in December. He was in immense pain after operation, lucid, but cannot talk. Very difficult to eat. The wife called me because she was my friend. So I visited in the hospital many times. And I do not know why, but I brought along with me a photo of His Holiness. And when I showed him, he was pacified.
He was pacified. Okay.
Pacified. So I think, just to share this as an example, that my friend who is going through death experience, I can see that he was happy. Although not necessarily a Buddhist. Now I'm asking the question. When we talk about emptiness, there's a difference between knowledge, realization, and seeing emptiness. Alright. So we're talking about realization of emptiness, but hardly about seeing emptiness. And then we also learn that Ahad and the 8 Bhumi who have seen emptiness. How do we as practitioners able to know within ourselves at what Bhumi we are? I have this difficulty whether I'm first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So this is not very clear. So this is a big issue.
So the first Bhumi of Bodhisattva, you have already pacified or eliminated all forms of what we call Tenzin Kunda, which means Tenzin is the self-grasping attitude or self-grasping attitude. Kunda is that comes from conditioning. So if you have self-grasping attitude, that is taught to you, that you have self-grasping attitude that didn't come naturally to you, but self-grasping attitude that you have been taught, that you have been conditioned to, that you have come to conclusions, come to do so, acquired through rationality, this and that. Reason does not mean good, right? There's how to say, you can have a reasoning. If I kill someone, I can say I killed him because I don't like you. That's also a reason. Just because there's a reason behind something doesn't mean it's good. Reason doesn't always mean good thing. So you can have improper reasoning and proper reasoning. So coming derived from reasoning, from conditioning, from learning, from learning from different philosophical thought, this and that. All these are eliminated at the first Bhumi, all of them. But what is still remaining is the Tenzin Henge, or the what do you call that thing? The naturally arising, or spontaneous self-grasping attitude is still there. Okay, well, that is one thing. If you receive the first Bhumi, the easiest thing is the first Bhumi. There was one person. I will not mention the name, but the one very famous teacher. So he said he has reached the first Bhumi, and he was telling that to his own teacher. His own teacher was alive at that time. The person who claimed that is still alive. So he told his teacher that I have reached the first bhumi. So if you reach first bhumi, that means you can perceive emptiness as you can perceive this book. So, yeah, because emptiness is a concept. So concept cannot, in order to see a concept as clearly as you can see a physical object is very difficult. So first bhumi means you can see emptiness as you can conceive it like that. So the person told his teacher that he can see emptiness directly because he has reached the first bhumi. So first bhumi has about 100 types of qualities, like different. You have some sort of magical power, this and that. So it has a lot of different feats. First bhumi has about 100 different qualitative feats, right? So one of them is you have the mastery of what is it called? That word I keep forgetting again. Turning metal into gold. What is that called? Alchemy. Yeah. So the first level bhumi has the mastery of alchemy. Can turn metal into gold. Okay. I'm not making this up. You can look it up. Each of the bhumi has different qualities. So first bhumi has the quality, the qualification of the first bhumi. One of the many is that you can change metal into gold. You can try that.
Thank you, Rinpoche. I think we can have another session to understand other movies. So
Yeah.
I'm no one in any movies anyway.
I know that didn't answer your question. So I'll just summarize. So when you actually see emptiness as the first bhumi, then everything that you see, like the house, me, everything will appear flimsy to you, like smoky to you. I am there, I'm talking to you, but I appear so unrealistic to you. So one of the signs that mentioned in the text is as if so much like a bubble. I will appear bubbly to you in the sense that if you are to blow at me, I'm gonna move. So if you have that sort of appearance, then it means you have actually, that only comes after being able to see emptiness, not just know about emptiness as a concept, not just realizing emptiness to inference, but seeing emptiness as if you can see a physical object. If you are able to do that, then you will feel everything as illusory, bubbly, and wavy, smoky, unrealistic.
Right, so we take one more question. If times depending on how many? Two. Okay, then final two.
Very short question, Rinpoche. How can we chant Amitabha mantra if somebody is dying because of the heart attack? Because probably that will be how
So your the situation states that the person himself cannot chant, right? So he cannot chant. You were saying how we can chant for them, right?
Yeah, I mean that if like for myself, right?
Yeah.
Heart attack, I die, then I have no chance to really chant for Amitabha.
So if you have a heart attack or if you have a sudden death, most likely you will not be able to chant a mantra, but you can always have a. If you need to you can have a flash image of Amitabha, so that will help. Flash image, like you have a. So for that, you actually need to familiarize yourself with Amitabha often. You have to visualize. That's the very first question, why we rise as the Sambhogakaya. So if you keep seeing Amitabha every day, then at the time of death or something untowards happened to you at that time, that moment, the first thing that appears is Amitabha's face. So that will help even if you're not able to chant the mantra. Recalling his image, he said, recalling my face or image and chanting my mantra, which is his name, this will help. Yeah. So cannot chant the mantra, there's no way you can chant the mantra like that. So heart attack or accident, this and that, cannot chant the mantra, but you visualize chant the image of Amitabha like that. Yeah, this will help. So in order to be able to project Amitabha's picture at the time of death, sudden death, you need to familiarize every day on a daily basis. If you do not do that, this picture is not going to come at that sudden death time. Yeah.
Now we have one more last question. For those that have more questions, please send across your question because time is running late and it's 9:01. We will give it to Rinpoche and then we'll respond it back to you. Right? If
Yes,
you can answer. Thank you.
Rinpoche. Last night you mentioned something about Amitabha Pure Land, and you said that it's a mental state. And against what we have read in the sutra that says and describe very clearly what Amitabha Pure Land is all about. Can you please clear my confusion?
Okay. So first, what I said was it was mental product, and so there was a question of similar nature to yours, which kind of misheard me saying, or in which you were saying Amitabha's Pure Land is a mental projection. So at that time, I only said mental product. So when the second question was there, then I said, yeah, you can actually think of Amitabha's Pure Land as a mental projection too. Now you are saying it's a mental formation or mental creation.
Technically, I may not be as proficient as you, but it's something within that region.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I will. Okay. Okay. How to answer this question? Not easy, huh? So there's a mystical way to look at things, and then there's the, I would say, more. So all the Buddha's teaching, especially that comes from the Tantric Vajrayana, you have to take them. You can take them in two different ways, literally and figuratively, or take them as a how to say, mystical way, and more of a, how to say, realistic is not the right word to mention. In any case, so there is an Amitabha's Pure Land, but the Amitabha's Pure Land that you are going to be born is your product of your mental deeds. Okay, so Amitabha's Pure Land is not something that is out there, like you can travel to Hong Kong or India or America, which is always there, right? Physically there, that you can travel from this place to another place. So in that sense, Amitabha's Pure Land is not there. But in terms of a realm that you can create and reach through your spiritual practices and perfection, it's a place that you can go in the sense, not like physically go there, but go in the sense of how to say, be born there. So Amitabha's Pure Land that you will be born in is as it is described in the sutras. But if you get on a spacecraft and look for Amitabha's Pure Land as described in the text, you will never find it. So physically not there, or how to say, you cannot locate it. Yeah, you cannot physically locate it. You cannot physically locate Amitabha's Pure Land in the present way of being that we are in right now. So in order to see the Amitabha's Pure Land, if you want to locate Amitabha's Pure Land, you have to be born, or if you have to be born as a different being. Only then can you find Amitabha's Pure Land. So in that sense, from a human being's point of view, it's not a physical land that you can actually travel to, but it's a place that you can be born in. So as a place that you can be born in, it is realistically there. As a place that you cannot travel to, it is a mental projection and it's not really there. So it's there and not there at the same time. If it's really there, physically there, maybe 20,000 kilometers something, then there's no way you can travel there at the moment of death in a split millisecond. You can just get there. There's no way you can do that. So it's not physically there, physically locatable, but at the same time, it is there when you when you transform the mind, when you transform your sense of being, you can actually get there. So it's we are lacking. We're lacking in a metaphor in the human world, in the human language, to explain how Amitabha's Pure Land or any Pure Land of the Buddha exists. Yeah. I don't know if that works or not, but yeah, because we don't have much time to discuss this. I will definitely talk more detail about this in one of our next sessions, if there is one.
Right.